These round numbers are always a little concerning to me. 1,100,000 is your gross revenue. I guarantee it's not a perfectly round number. Neither is your cash flow of 465,000. All right, so in this edition of Would I Buy This Business for Sale, we have a leading spray injection asphalt repair company. Based on the picture, it looks like a big truck that sprays stuff into all the cracks on the street. Well, definitely a service that is needed out there. Let's see, so asking price 1.2 million, cash flow 465,000 on revenue of 1.1 million. And then it says EBITDA 285,000. So that's profit before they add back the benefits that the owner gets from the business. These round numbers are always a little concerning to me. 1,100,000 is your gross revenue. I guarantee it's not a perfectly round number. Neither is your cash flow of 465,000. When you see numbers like that, it either means the broker is being lazy, or the seller doesn't have particularly good books, or for some reason they're rounding things. But I would go with probably don't have great books or great records, or they're just estimating from an incomplete year. I always prefer to see listings with an exact number. That tells me even if they're wrong, they at least pulled it from something that is accurate to the point where they would have it down to the last decimal place. So right off the bat, this formatting doesn't inspire great confidence in the business, but let's see what else it has to say. They also don't list an equipment value. So I imagine those trucks are not cheap, but how many of them do they have? Business well positioned for sale, diversified client base, strong field manager, supervisors, been with the company over 10 years. As a seasonal business that only operates during the months of April through December, owners have the flexibility to take off winter months. I didn't notice where it was located, if it said, Michigan. So maybe you can't do these kind of road repairs in Michigan in the winter, which can make it a little harder. A seasonal business has the challenge of what do you do with employees? It's one thing for the owners not to get paid from January through March, but what do you do with your employees? If they've been around 10 years, do you just not pay them for 3 months a year and just hope that they figure out how to do their savings? Or do you keep paying them even when they're not working? So seasonal business is always a little more challenging. The company also owns a building. Cool. Doesn't say how many trucks they have or what those trucks are worth or whatever. It says it does work with municipalities and counties and commercial parking lots. So when you're working with cities and you're working with the government, it can, one, be good because it can sometimes pay a little better, but on the other hand, it can take longer to get paid and be harder to get contracts and things. So businesses that work with governments have pros and cons like anything else. I'd want to know what the split is between how much work they do for cities and counties and how much they do for private payers who generally make decisions faster and can be easier to work with, but then also more likely to switch vendors. So it's an interesting business. It has some challenges. The numbers look a little off. You'd have to find out what the real numbers are. But if there's a potential to get in here and grow this thing, the margins are certainly good. 465 net on 1.1 million is about a 40% margin. And any business that has a 30% profit margin or better, I find interesting, and the higher the better. So it definitely works on that level. So yeah, could be an interesting business if you're in that area and you like the idea of taking January through March off every year.